Welcome back to part 3. I just came up with a good idea before I reached the point that I should have never had gone to. When checking for the one-way bearing, I was thinking to myself I was going backwards. Very simple, very easy way to find that out. You just take the starter out. You ain't got to go through all this. Good thing I didn't get any further, because you also have to take the back wheel off to clear that case to get it out, and then get it dead straight for the automatic clutch system to be able to line back up the way it's supposed to go back in so the parts don't fall out. So I'm glad I didn't have to go that far, because this is very simple. When you take the starter out, you can see your one-way, your gear, starter gear, your one-way bearing rides on that. So I'm going to see if I can't. Let me see if I get a screwdriver. Because if I put my hand in the way, you're not going to be able to see it. So if I take this screwdriver and get it right on there, now you can see it. This is not the problem. See how that's able to go one way? This is going real nice and smooth. But she doesn't go back the other way. That's the direction of the starter. When the starter goes this way, it spins the motor over. When the motor is able to spin freely. And the good news is she's got plenty of oil. She's got plenty of oil there. And that's spinning around real nice and smooth. So there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm glad I didn't go that far. So I only got my 8mm out. So I'm going to put the 8mm screws back in. Keep it on standby in case I do have to take this off. Because, very well, let me zoom back out. There we go. Could very well be that it could be the centrifugal clutch could be locked. But my problem I'm seeing right now is somebody was quite accurate by going through the spark plug hole. Watch this. They either filled this up with oil. Actually, that's looking like trans fluid. Let me see. That's motor oil. So they loaded the cylinder up with motor oil. So this piston's been soaking in motor oil, and what appears also to be some kind of rust agent. So I might be on easy street here, but I'm going to pop the valve cover off. I'm going to pop the actually that fluid does look a little bit red in there, so somebody put trans fluid in there. You can almost see it just towards the right of the screwdriver. You see how it has a red tint. A lot of people put transmission fluid in there, and that creates rust, but it also loosens rust up. If you ever notice, if you have transmission leak on the cross member, you'll see how it rusts out real easy. So between brake fluid and trans fluid, they're corrosive, which loosens up existing rust. That's why they use it, which is a good method. So sometimes you gotta fight fire with fire. That's the method. So this thing's been soaking for quite some time. So I'm thinking if I continue with the process, I should be able to shock that piston a little bit to get it to encourage to rotate. So that was a mistake on my end to tell people to pull that cover off. Sometimes I do that. So now, if you're questioning about your one-way bearing, just pop the starter out, stick your finger in there, and if you can move the gear one way real nice and smooth, does not bind up, you should be able to spin it and it'll stay in rotation for about a second and then stop. If you spin it and it stops instantly, then you know you got a problem. If it don't spin at all, then you really got a problem. So yeah, so I do have the infamous pain in the butt job to do. There wasn't much oil that came out of this, so I'm imagining this thing was oil starved and that's what caused this. Could be because not enough oil, and or there could be a clog in the return or the supply line coming from the oil cooler, which is up here in the front just behind the winch. If that gets clogged, then that usually causes this. But you can see how black that oil is. Looks like it's got some water mixed. That could be condensation. If it was heavy trails of it, looked all milky, then I would say there's a major issue. But that shouldn't be too much of a problem. I'll just clear that up with an oil change, and that could have very well came in through here because there was nothing covering that. So that could be all that is. So stay tuned, and I'll let you know my findings over the four-wheeler. Have a good one.